Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Beyond the Gates channel. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Before we begin, don't forget to subscribe and hit like for more daily drama updates and spoilers. Your support truly means a lot and helps our channel grow every day. The coming week on Beyond the Gates promises to deliver one of the most emotionally explosive chapters the series has seen in a long time as Bill Hamilton's long foreshadowed medical crisis finally reaches its terrifying breaking point. For weeks, viewers have sensed that something devastating was looming over Bill's future, and now the moment everyone feared appears to have arrived. The latest spoilers paint a chilling picture of the powerful businessman collapsing in what looks like a catastrophic health emergency, leaving everyone around him wondering whether this is truly the end. Yet, as frightening as Bill's condition may be, the emotional fallout surrounding his collapse could prove even more destructive than the illness itself. While doctors fight to keep him alive, another battle is quietly brewing in the hearts of those who have never truly let him go. Most of all, Dany Dupree is about to face the painful truth she has spent months trying desperately to bury, and that truth may destroy the life she has been trying so hard to rebuild with Andre Richardson. Ever since that unforgettable encounter between Bill and Dany inside the elevator, neither of them has truly been able to move forward. The brief interaction reopened wounds that had never completely healed, stirring up memories of a love that once seemed impossible to break, despite everything that happened between them. Bill has made it increasingly clear that he wants another chance with the woman he once called his wife, refusing to believe their story is truly over. Dany, however, has stood her ground every time he has approached her, rejecting his advances and making it crystal clear that she refuses to become the other woman in his marriage. She reminded Bill that she would never reduce herself to becoming a side piece the way Haley Lawson once was, refusing to repeat the same humiliating cycle that shattered her heart. On the surface, Dany appears determined and resolute, but beneath that strength lies a woman still carrying years of emotional scars that refuse to fade. The pain Bill caused Dany did not begin with Haley, and it certainly did not end there. For years, she endured his endless betrayals, swallowing heartbreak after heartbreak as he repeatedly broke the vows they once shared. Every affair chipped away at her confidence until the ultimate betrayal arrived when Bill abandoned her completely in favor of Haley, humiliating Dany in front of everyone who knew them. As if leaving her wasn't cruel enough, Bill then moved Haley into a home practically in Dany's own backyard, forcing her to watch the life she once had unfold right before her eyes every single day. Those memories continue to haunt Dany, filling her with anger, resentment, and unimaginable sorrow whenever she looks back on everything she lost. Yet no matter how much she wishes otherwise, she cannot deny one painful reality. Right? Bill still has an undeniable hold over her emotions, and despite everything he has done, the chemistry between them refuses to disappear, leaving her heart and body battling against the common sense she desperately tries to embrace. While Dany wrestles with her conflicted emotions, Haley Hamilton is carrying out a far darker plan that threatens to end Bill's life altogether. After growing tired of waiting for circumstances to work in her favor, Haley confides in Randy Parker that she wants this entire situation finished once and for all. Randy responds by handing her even more poison, strengthening the horrifying conspiracy they have secretly been carrying out behind Bill's back. Their original plan involved accompanying Bill to St. Bart's, where Randy claimed he had connections capable of producing a death certificate almost immediately before arranging for Bill's body to be cremated without raising suspicion. Once Bill's body became nothing more than ashes, Haley believed any evidence of poisoning would disappear forever, allowing her to inherit his fortune without anyone ever discovering the truth. It is a ruthless, calculating scheme driven entirely by greed, revealing just how far Haley is willing to go for wealth and freedom. For weeks, Haley has been methodically carrying out her deadly plot with chilling precision. She has secretly been slipping toxic substances into Bill's daily smoothies while encouraging him to push himself physically harder than ever before. Rather than allowing him to rest, she has constantly urged him to continue intense workouts, placing even greater strain on a body already being weakened from the inside. Whenever concerned family members attempted to check on Bill or encourage him to seek medical attention, Haley subtly worked to keep them at a distance, carefully isolating her husband while manipulating every situation to her advantage. She even taunted Bill about visiting the hospital, pretending she was perfectly fine with doctors examining him because she knew his stubborn pride and oversized ego would convince him to refuse treatment. Every calculated move brought Haley one step closer to the payday she desperately wanted, believing Bill's death would solve every problem she had. But just when Haley thinks everything is falling perfectly into place, unexpected complications threaten to derail her murderous timetable. New spoilers reveal that Bill receives a medical update that forces the couple to postpone their planned trip to St. Bart's, destroying the carefully crafted timeline Haley had counted on. Rather than accepting the delay, Haley quickly changes course, deciding she can no longer afford to wait for the perfect opportunity. Instead, she begins preparing to eliminate Bill right where they are, determined to finish the job in the DMV before anyone has the chance to interfere. What Haley doesn't realize is that the walls have already begun closing around her. People who once suspected she might simply be having an affair have started uncovering far more disturbing clues, and every new discovery brings them closer to exposing the truth she has fought so hard to hide. Kat Richardson, Chelsea Hamilton, Naomi Hamilton Hawthorne, and Dany have gradually pieced together a puzzle that completely changes their understanding of Randy's role in Haley's life. They have finally realized that Randy is not Haley's secret lover at all, but someone connected to a much deeper and far more dangerous secret. Vanessa McBride unknowingly helps complete the picture by revealing important details about Randy's shared history with Doug McBride, allowing the Dupree women to recognize that Haley, Randy, and Doug all come from the same place. Suddenly, years of unexplained connections begin making perfect sense. Even Randy's use of another name during the supposed hospital visit connected to Haley's fake miscarriage now looks far more suspicious than ever before. Every clue points toward deception, yet Haley remains blissfully unaware that nearly every woman in the Dupree family is quietly investigating her every move. Completely convinced she is still several steps ahead of everyone else, Haley presses forward with her deadly intentions. She believes no one has figured out her true motives, giving her the confidence to continue planning Bill's murder without hesitation. Meanwhile, Dany turns her attention directly toward Randy, confronting him with pointed questions that clearly leave him shaken. By Thursday, spoilers suggest Randy is visibly rattled by Dany's unexpected confrontation, raising the possibility that he may immediately warn Haley that suspicion is growing. At the same time, Vanessa's loyalty to Randy, born from his friendship with Doug, leads her to quietly caution him that people are beginning to ask dangerous questions. Faced with mounting pressure from every direction, Randy may finally decide that helping Haley is no longer worth risking his own freedom. He could choose to disappear before everything falls apart, leaving Haley completely on her own just when she needs an accomplice the most. Unfortunately, Haley has already committed herself too deeply to stop now. By Friday, the horrifying consequences begin unfolding exactly as everyone feared. Haley appears to get precisely what she wanted when Bill suddenly collapses once again at work. And this time the situation looks dramatically worse than before. His condition appears so serious that, every second feels like a desperate race against death itself. Caroline Lee is there when Bill goes down. breakdown, and she is expected to help rush him to the hospital as panic spreads through everyone who witnesses the terrifying scene. Madison Montgomery may not immediately understand what caused Bill's sudden collapse, but viewers could soon find themselves watching an emotionally devastating deathbed storyline unfold. Chelsea and Naomi may be forced to stand beside their father's hospital bed, wondering whether they are about to lose him forever, while every monitor, every heartbeat, and every passing moment carries unbearable emotional weight. If Bill truly finds himself hovering between life and death, Dany's inner conflict will become impossible to hide any longer. The last time Bill was hospitalized, she desperately tried convincing herself that staying away was the right decision. Andre noticed immediately that Dany was struggling against the overwhelming urge to rush to Bill's bedside, and in a remarkably understanding gesture, he even told her she was free to go if that was what she truly wanted. Dany insisted she wouldn't visit, convincing both Andre and herself that she had finally moved on. Yet when the opportunity presented itself, her emotions won. She quietly slipped away while Andre was distracted and secretly visited Bill in the hospital, unable to resist seeing him with her own eyes. The visit exposed feelings she had desperately tried to suppress, especially when she discovered that Haley wasn't even there caring for her own husband. Dany's frustration only intensified later when she confronted Haley for spending the day getting a facial while Bill lay helpless in a hospital bed fighting for his health. History now seems poised to repeat itself, only this time the emotional consequences could be far greater. Haley will likely be absent once again, not because she is selfishly distracted, but because she is completely consumed by her murderous agenda. While Bill fights for survival, Haley could very well be at home packing bikinis for a luxurious escape to St. Bart's, already imagining herself as a wealthy widow, free to spend Bill's fortune while searching for her next wealthy victim. Dany has always believed Haley was nothing more than a ruthless gold digger, and every member of the Dupree family shares that opinion. What none of them imagined, however, was that Haley might also be a calculating black widow willing to kill her husband to collect his fortune. That horrifying realization changes everything, transforming Haley from an opportunist into someone capable of genuine evil. As Bill's condition deteriorates, another emotionally devastating possibility begins to emerge. Andre may decide to visit the hospital himself, despite his complicated feelings toward Bill, recognizing that regardless of their differences, Bill remains an important part of the extended family. If Andre arrives while Bill believes he is facing his final moments, he could overhear a confession capable of destroying his own marriage. Bill might admit to Dany that he treasures the fact they shared one final intimate moment together during the tornado, revealing feelings neither of them ever intended Andre to discover. Even worse, Bill could accidentally reveal everything directly to Andre while weakened by pain medication or convinced he has nothing left to lose. Whether spoken intentionally or through confused desperation, those words would expose Dany's lingering love for Bill in the cruelest way imaginable. Andre would suddenly realize that despite every denial, his wife never truly let go of the man who shattered her heart. This looming medical emergency may also become the breakthrough investigators have desperately needed. Up until now, Madison has performed numerous medical tests on Bill, yet none of the standard blood work revealed evidence that he has been slowly poisoned. However, Bill's worsening symptoms combined with Kat Richardson's growing suspicions may finally push the investigation in a completely different direction. As a devoted true crime enthusiast, Kat has already begun recognizing patterns that others overlooked, and her instincts could encourage Madison to order a comprehensive toxicology screening. If that happens, Haley's carefully hidden scheme may finally unravel under scientific scrutiny. The poison she believed would remain forever undetected could become the very evidence that destroys her carefully constructed lies. Even with Bill's life hanging in the balance, it seems unlikely that this storyline will actually end with his death. Instead, the greater casualties may be the relationships surrounding him. Bill's marriage to Haley appears destined to collapse completely once her crimes are exposed, while Dany's marriage to Andre could also crumble under the weight of hidden feelings and painful revelations that neither of them can ignore any longer. Their relationship has already been showing cracks, and those fractures are only becoming more visible. To make matters even worse, Andre is simultaneously dealing with a dangerous stalker from his past whose increasingly alarming behavior threatens to create yet another crisis in his already complicated life. Every storyline seems to be converging toward one explosive collision, leaving no relationship untouched. Despite insisting to everyone around her that she no longer wants Bill, Dany may soon discover that the hardest person to fool has always been herself. Haley grows increasingly desperate to complete her murderous plan before anyone uncovers the truth, believing Bill's death is the final step toward securing the fortune she has spent so long chasing. Yet if Bill survives, as seems increasingly likely, the consequences may prove even more devastating than his death would have been. His survival could expose Haley's crimes, shatter her marriage forever, and simultaneously reveal Dany's unresolved love, destroying the life she has tried so hard to build with Andre. Bill himself may even attempt to convince Dany that nearly losing his life has transformed him into a different man, promising that he has finally learned from his mistakes and would never betray her again. But after years of infidelity and deception, those promises are difficult to believe, and history suggests that Bill's wandering eye would eventually return, making any reunion as dangerous emotionally as it would be dramatically satisfying. From a purely emotional standpoint, Andre represents the healthier and more stable future for Dany, offering the kind of love and respect Bill repeatedly failed to provide throughout their marriage. Yet this is the world of daytime drama, where near-death experiences often reignite old passions and impossible romances refuse to stay buried. A reunion between Bill and Dany would undoubtedly create the more explosive and emotionally charged storyline, even if it ultimately leads to more heartbreak. As for Haley, many viewers would undoubtedly enjoy seeing her finally led away in handcuffs to answer for everything she has done. Then again, soap operas rarely choose the simplest path, and it would be equally dramatic if Haley managed to escape justice entirely, disappearing into another town where she could begin targeting yet another wealthy man. If that happens, Randy may have no choice but to flee as well, especially after already surviving Joey Armstrong's previous attempt on his life. Perhaps this time, if Randy leaves town without stealing anyone's money, fate will finally treat him a little more kindly. One thing is absolutely certain: this week promises life and death stakes for Bill, Haley, and Randy, while Dany's marriage may be fighting for survival just as desperately as Bill himself.